Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. SBF has been arrested. Mhm. We got him. Now, honestly, I don't think this guy saw this coming. I think this is just comes out of nowhere and just him right in the face. I kind of got the feeling when I was watching him do all of these different interviews that he really felt like if he got in front of enough cameras and talked to enough people, that somehow, some way he'd be able to wiggle his way out of this. And that just didn't happen. There was an order of extradition. He was rounded up by the Royal Bahamian Police December the 12th around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he will be extradited to the United States. However, this doesn't mean that he's out of trouble with the Bahamas. They're going to still continue doing their own investigation to get to the bottom of exactly what happened with FTX. Now, don't forget, there is FTX exchanges in a lot of different countries. Like this guy might have to hopscotch prisons all over the place. Like when he gets out of one prison, he might have to immediately go and show up to another one to do a sentence there. He may very well spend the rest of his life behind bars. Okay, I know that was a little mean. I really didn't. I shouldn't have done that. That was a little mean. But a lot of people have been hurt by the FTX crash, and so let's get to the particulars of the indictment and the arrest. And just so you know, the indictment is sealed as of right now. Hopefully by later on this week, it should be unsealed. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried arrested, Bahamas say. U.S. authorities filed criminal charges against Bankman-Fried, and the Bahamas intends to extradite him once U.S. officials request it. The Royal Bahamas Police Force arrested FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, a press statement said. The arrest came after the U.S. filed criminal charges against Bankman-Fried, the statement said, and the nation expects the U.S. to request the Bahamas extradite Bankman-Fried in short order. As a result of the notification received and the material provided therewith, it was deemed appropriate for the Attorney General to seek SBF's arrest and hold him in custody pursuant to our nation's Extradition Act. The statement attributed to Attorney General Ryan Pinder said at such time as a formal request for extradition is made, the Bahamas intends to process it promptly pursuant to Bahamian law and its treaty obligations with the United States. A tweet from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York confirmed that the prosecutors in the U.S. indicted Bankman-Fried, though the indictment remains under seal. And this is the tweet. USA Damian Williams earlier this week, Bahamian authorities arrested Samuel Bankman-Fried at the request of the U.S. government based on a sealed indictment filed by the SDNY, that's Southern District of New York. We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning. So tomorrow, and we will have more to say at that time. In the Bahamas statement, the Bahamas Prime Minister, Philip Davis, said the country will continue pursuing its own investigation into FTX's collapse alongside the U.S. criminal charges. Bankman-Fried was set to testify virtually before the House Financial Services Committee about the exchange's collapse on Tuesday. Spokespeople for both the chair and the ranking member did not immediately return requests for comments. So we do know he was going to attend virtually and give his spiel about what he believes happened. And, again, I think he intended to kind of talk his way out of it, but SDNY wasn't having that. In a separate news release, the Royal Bahamas Police Force said officers with its Financial Crimes Investigation Unit arrested Sam Bankman-Fried around 6 p.m. local time. He was arrested, referenced to various financial offenses against laws of the United States, which are offenses against laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the document said. Bankman-Fried will appear in court on Tuesday in the Bahamas. Mark Cohen, Bankman-Fried's attorney, did not immediately return a request for comment, and that's because he's probably Bankman-Fried right now. He's probably like, how many times have I told you to keep your mouth shut? You realize every single interview that you have ever given, including Stephanopoulos and, the little chat that you had with CoffeeZilla, all of that is now evidence against you, my friend. Every single word that left your mouth is going to be pulled into court, read out in a transcript if it's not, played on a video for everyone to hear. In this case, he was his own worst enemy. Like I said, I thought, he believes he could talk his way out of it, but it's bad. It's bad. He was arrested. Oh, I already read that. FTX fell last month after a CoinDesk report revealed that Alameda Research, a sister company also founded by Bankman-Fried, held a large number of FTT tokens, which are issued by FTX. FTX filed for bankruptcy just over a month ago. Wow, it's been a month already. Its new CEO, John J. Ray III, said in court filings and prepared congressional testimony that he had never seen anything quite like the corporate governance and documentation failures that he found at FTX. And remember, this is the guy who, kind of did the postmortem on Enron. Among other issues, he found that FTX had heavily commingled customer and corporate assets, losing billions along the way. In his prepared remarks published earlier Monday, he said his new team had managed to secure about $1 billion of company assets to date. For his part, Bankman-Fried went on a press tour after leaving his company, speaking to the New York Times, the New York Magazine, Vox, and numerous other news outlets. He spoke at a Twitter space and in a live Forbes interview earlier on Monday. So yes, I'm sure all of the conversations that he had with CoffeeZilla, because we do know there was 3. And in the final interview that CoffeeZilla had done, he really, put out a thoughtful approach about how he was going to try to get SBF to admit to fraud. Because he felt like he failed the first 2 times around, but he tried to really box him in with the last interview. And I feel like he got there. He got some very good information out of Sam Bankman-Fried. And I just know that his lawyer, once again, is just on Sam Bankman-Fried because he just talked way, way too much. But I'll say this, and I always say this, I am not defending Sam Bankman-Fried at all. He has ruined a lot of people's lives. If I was an innocent person and I believed what I had done was not wrong or somebody was framing me or something, the first thing I would do is go out in front of the TV cameras and tell my story. Even if my attorney said, hey, you better keep your mouth shut, I think I'd be that person that went out and just told my truth. I think his truth, though, is very different from reality. Well, that's going to do it here for me today. I thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, please take care of yourself and try to only buy on those red candles.